So it has been around 8 months now since the Jackson Mahomes news broke that he could be spending some time behind bars. At the time, his family was riding high. Patrick and the Chiefs had just taken down the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Hey, it was Joe Burrow last week. It's Philly this week.
And it looked like Jackson's off-the-field antics he had become so infamous for were finally coming to an end, as his behavior all season had been good. But then he made what we thought was going to be the biggest mistake of his life, when he allegedly tried to get with his best friend's stepmom in the back of her restaurant.
Mahomes is accused of assaulting a waiter and forcibly kissing the female owner of a Kansas City area restaurant on February 25th.
Yeah, it was this morning at sunrise that Jackson Mahomes was formally detained. He turned himself in.
Now, there was some pretty harsh evidence levied against him at the time, with a security video documenting their interaction that immediately went public. And of course, the mugshot also dropped, as well as the video of him being released from jail.
Do you have any reaction to be facing 3 felony charges?
Excuse us, we can't talk right now.
You know, if you was a real black dude, they would arrest you a long time ago.
And now for the last 8 months, we have been sparingly getting information about this case, and now it does seem like we finally have a verdict being reached in this situation. And I will say it's looking a little fishy to me. So first I wanted to show you guys this video from 5 months ago, where the main victim in this case, the woman herself, Aspen Vaughn, said that she regrets the police being involved in this situation in the first place.
Aspen Vaughn, who owns Aspen Restaurant and Lounge, now says the encounter with Mahomes is being blown out of proportion. But she tells us that if it were up to her, that night she would have never called police. She tells Fox 4's Malik Jackson she hoped that this all would have blown over by now. She opened up about this as she and her staff say the restaurant has been vandalized and lost nearly 75% of its business.
So to be clear, in the wake of all of this going down and, obviously the whole situation going public, apparently the restaurant that she owned where this all went down began to absolutely tank, and other suspicious things were going on, like their gas lines being cut, and other various vandalism happening in the middle of the night, which sounds like witness tampering to me, okay? A little bit of strong-arm legal action.
Should the police have ever been called that night in February?
Would I have called them?
I said, should the police have been called? Would you have called them?
Honest answer, absolutely yes. I don't agree with his behavior either. Either his last name is what caused this whole thing.
I don't believe that it was warranted. I don't believe what he did was right, but I know that our restaurant, nobody here, we didn't call the police.
Since the incident, Aspen's manager Jennifer Thomas says they've had nearly a 75% loss in business, sometimes going entire days without anyone coming into the restaurant.
Something is keeping people from wanting to come in here.
So now they're taking this stance like, oh, we didn't call the police, we didn't want all of this to happen. But that doesn't exactly add up when you consider the comments she made to the police that night, where she says that he came up to her office, he forced himself upon her, and that apparently she was screaming out for help because she was so intimidated by his large stature. Like, it obviously seems like that night she was scared that something bad was going to happen to her.
Vaughn claims since the incident they have been a target, pipes cut at the business, they've been harassed by threatening phone calls and more.
And I would say this is pretty common when it comes to someone trying to take down or levy a court case against another individual who has power, who has influence, who has status, is that they do not always understand how much of an uphill battle that can be, and how much that decision can actually backfire on them in the future, as that person can pretty much try and make their life like a living hell. And so that's why it was really no surprise when last week we got these news that at least 3 out of the 4 of his felony charges would be dropped, as that woman Aspen Vaughn, who you just heard on the phone, would refuse to cooperate any further in this court case. So the restaurant has since closed down in part because of the negative publicity stemming from Jackson's case. The 41-year-old also told the newspaper that she had been receiving death threats, and obviously, like we said, the restaurant had been vandalized since this whole charge came up. And now this comes straight from the Associated Press, where they say the district attorney has filed a motion Tuesday to dismiss 3 counts of the battery against Jackson Mahomes, and that he appeared at a hearing last Wednesday where 3 of his 4 felony charges were dropped, and 1 charge actually does remain, and I believe that's just for like shoving a waiter or something like that. and I think that is likely to also be dismissed if not just settled out of court. Now obviously we do not know whether or not this woman was paid off, or maybe she was threatened behind the scenes, but at least to me, in my opinion, based on my speculation, this whole thing sounds very fishy. Obviously, with Jackson being related to the guy who's basically the face of the NFL at this point, the new NFL's golden boy, it would be a bad look for him to go behind bars, especially under these type of charges. I mean, from the start, we knew that he would probably get some sort of plea deal in this situation, but when it's been taken to this point where she does not even want to testify against him, in my opinion, there has to be something going on in the background. And I'm obviously not the only one who feels this way. Just listen to how disappointed and shocked this reporter seems about the verdict in this. To be clear with you guys that this happens in the court of law damn near every single day. Even when the evidence is like pretty damning against an individual, which obviously his reputation took yet another hit. And instead of this being a learning moment for the guy, he has essentially gotten bailed out once again. I mean, we already know that the guy is, like, very pretentious. He's definitely an elitist who sees himself as better than others. And all because of accomplishments that other people in his family have had, like his father being a major league pitcher, obviously his brother being an NFL superstar, his life of being a professional coattail rider, going around in jets, living a rich, luxurious lifestyle while he posts his little TikToks. I mean, to me, this is all not a very good look for Patrick nor his family. And I will say that Jackson is extremely lucky that this all went down before the whole Travis Kelce-Taylor Swift relationship went so public. Because had this happened in the midst of that whole storm, those Swifties would have been on his ass like no other. They would have been saying, keep this man far away from Taylor up there in that press box. Okay, you know he was out there lurking. And like I said, sadly in this situations, this is far too often the outcome. In this country and really in places all around the world, if you have enough money, if you have enough status, you can pretty much be untouchable. For Jackson, he has shown time and time again that he really feels like he can do absolutely whatever he wants. And with this being the outcome in an obviously much more serious situation, I think it's only going to make him even stronger in that belief. But y'all let me know what you guys think down below. As always, I do want to thank you for watching today's video, dropping a like and subscribing. Do y'all think something sketchy was going on with this court case? Is there any possibility that this woman set him up and was just looking for a payday? Either way, it's been your boy the Tan Superman, and some other news out here needs to be covered, so I'm out. Peace!